let us move on to our next party, the Horde, Orc. So basically, let's quickly look at their advantages. So, plus 12% damage, plus 20% building damage, and plus 2 level building armor. Basic at a first glance, but actually far more tricky to play. Easy to learn, but difficult to master. Very buff and aura-dependent race. Augments troop damage output with Blind Rage and Frenzy. So another one of my absolutely favorite races. So, we are going to start off with the Frostwolf Elites. Reduces spell damage to Grunt, Scout, Shaman, and Ranger by 25%. Increases their hit points by 50. So, very basic, very kind of, you know, it's a bit blah, but the reduction to spell damage by 25% can be really, really nice, especially if you go up against a magic-heavy race like the Blood Elves. Then we have Orb of Lightning, which increases Grunt, Raider, and Shaman attack rate by 7% and gives them a 10, 14, 18, and 22% chance to deal 25 damage up to 3 units with each attack. In addition, Grunt and Raider can attack air targets. So, one of the things that's really nice about this is that it enables your tier 2 units to really hold their own against a tier T3 base that would normally slowly and surely demolish you through just pure aerial attrition. And, you know, it's nice to have a little bit of chain lightning and a little more attack rate. So once again, tamed wolves, just like the hired thugs for the humans. This is 2 frost wolves with each wave from a new barracks. So, Frostwolf is a melee unit. It has a Feral Roar ability, which increases nearby unit damage by 20%. That is phenomenal. So, one of the places that I would recommend doing that against is either in the middle or to the, or to the left or to the right, depending on whether or not you really want to push one area in hard. So we're going from the tamed wolves to veteran troops. So veteran troops, very much like the swordsmen for the humans, plus 10% attack rate, 125 HP, but they heal 100 HP over 15 seconds and bash. So this is very, very good early game, but unfortunately, because it's only 100 HP and it's over 15 seconds, it tends to drop out very, very hard around the mid-game. So, pick this if you want to really try and capitalize at early game, but don't believe it's going to be carrying you all the way through. Unlike these other two. So the Elder Warlock, it replaces the Shaman. 5% attack rate, 50 HP, and 75 magic power. So Banish basically makes a unit ethereal. That means they cannot attack, they cannot be attacked, and they cannot cast spells. So it's great for taking a few of those big units out of the fight and help your, potentially outnumbered push gain up a little power. Sorry, gain a little momentum. Blind Rage is also really interesting. 30, 40, 50, 30, 40, 45, and 50% attack rate bonus, but it deals damage increasingly over time. So, the attack rate bonus is great, damage per second less great, and you're not going to have access to that heal. So this is not super sustainable in the long run, but if you're going for that glass cannon build, go for it. Finally, the Elder Shaman. This is my favorite, because Lightning Strike wipes out air units, especially if you get a good backline. And if you get a great backline with healing wards, with 3 or 4 healing wards, you can get 30 to 40 HP per second per unit for 6-8. Now we're going from the Elder Shaman to the Great Wolf Spirit. So it replaces the Raider. So, Tier 2 upgrade, and Feral House slows the enemies around for 5 seconds. Plus 3 armor at 150 HP. Frankly, really not super impressed with this. It's got plus 1 level of Endurance Aura, which could be very nice, but I think the 3rd level of Endurance Aura is fine in and of itself. So, I would not recommend this one too much right away. Then, finally, we've got the Kodo Beast, which replaces the Catapult, plus 60% attack rate, very important, 1200 HP and 3 armor, with a 20% chance to kill units instantly, and a support aura of 20% melee and range damage. This is if you just want to shatter the game at the end. This is especially if you kind of want to rush your tier 4 barracks and kind of ignore some of the other upgrades. Very economy build, and basically the Kodo Beast will do horrifying amounts of damage to the enemy, basically in every way, shape, and form. Their heart, their soul, it's all going to be a disaster for them. Now we're going to have the Source of Magic, which unlocks upgrades for the Fortress and the Shaman Mana, reduces cooldowns of the defensive fortress spells, all very interesting. The Item Merchant, which we've gone over. Enchanted Steel, which once again reduces spell damage by 50%, armor by 2. That's a turtle, you know, as it says, anti-ultimate weapon and base defense. And finally, fuck heroes. So, we're going to quickly look at the Source of Magic. So, it's a source of mana regeneration. It increases Bloodlust, 50% Chain Lightning damage, and basic mana Magic Torrent, minus 5% mana cost to Arrow Volley, minus 20% cooldown. It's all pretty solid. Not super crucial, but all very solid. So, the Orcs. As we've discussed, the Orcs are incredibly powerful. 12% unit damage, 20% building damage, and 2% building armor. So the fact that you have your buildings who deal 20% more damage, and your buildings that deal... And you can have 2% more levels of building armor, it's also important to note, because building armor, every time you get building armor, you get more economy. So essentially, they're setting you up to have an incredible economy. And because you've got plus 12% damage on your units right away, you are probably in the most comfortable position to send units against basically most races until mid-tier, until, you know, tier 2 barracks, almost completely unupgraded, and they can hold their own pretty well. You're gonna have to upgrade their health, yes, but normally things like damage aren't gonna be one of your main kind of worries. So that means you can go really, really hard for the economy. For the Orcs, strong economy at the beginning means a devastating Orc Horde at the end. And then, of course, basic shamanism, Bloodlust, 13% attack rate for 60 seconds is insane as well. So really starting things off, I would be picking basic shamanism and the basic spiked barricades. Those would be my two major pickups. Then, once again, the Orcs have two real advantages in here that not a lot of people have. So, Endurance Aura makes you guys go a lot quicker and increases your attack rate. So Endurance Aura is probably an immediate pickup. And then finally, Pillage is a ton of fun because the Raiders are strong already by themselves. But every time they hit something, they will be making you money. And since we're playing against the Dwarves, Pillage should be a high list of priority for me. So that would be how I would play this opening. And then, of course, you know, whenever you've got a little bit of extra money, upgrade, you know, some damage, prioritize armor first, but then once you're pushing up there, get the damage. But once again, get the spiked barricades and get the basic shamanism. Very important, very deadly, and especially if you can get your economy kicked off right away, your Orc Horde is going to be very unpleasant to deal with.